Welcome to Macrocode. If you are new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today we are going to proceed with the employees management system. As you can see, we have HR on payroll where we have the list of employees here. You can edit the employee. You can actually view the details. You can see we have the details of the employee. So under HR and payroll, we also have holidays. Just to give a quick recap for those who are following this channel for the first time, and you can actually subscribe if you are a new member. So we also have the leave adjustments. So the leave adjustments can be done by the HR, or even for those who are applying for leave, it will automatically do a leave adjustment, and we are actually tracking this. So you can see whether it is a negative or positive leave adjustments. So under HR and payroll also we have the leave balances, and these are being tracked per the employee. As you can see, we have the employee number and the allocated balances and the leave balances. Then we also have the leave periods. Here you can actually see we have some of the periods that we've created. Then under leave applications, we have the leave types. You can actually create a new leave type. And you can see here we have either it is annual leave, maternity, paternity. You can create those types of leaves. Then within leave applications, we have a way for a user to apply for leave. You can actually create a new leave application. And on this leave application, you can select the employee, the number of days, the start date, end date, the leave duration, the annual leave, attachment, and even the notes. So you can also attach a photo and you can save the application. So when you come to leave application, you can actually approve leave applications, and you'll find the approved leave applications on a new tab. So you can see we have the approved leave applications, and you can be able to view the leave application. So within leave application also we have the rejected leave applications. These are the leave applications that are rejected. Then we also have under security, we have system user, system roles, profiles, audit logs, and system administration. We have the workflow entries. So we are trying to change the way we are dealing with entries, because currently it's actually one user can approve a document like leave application. So we are trying to have a kind of a multiple approval workflow. So that's why we have the approval entries. So in our previous video, we created workflow user groups. And on the workflow user groups, you'll notice that for each of these workflow user group, we have the approvers. So I can actually go to approvers, and you can see I have the workflow user group name, the sender, and the approver, and the sequence in which they are in. So then after that, under system administration, we also have designations, departments, banks, countries, town or cities, system codes and system code details. Then under system settings, we have the company information. So what I want us to do, I want us to come to under system, that is the approval entries. Remember, we created the approval entries, and these entries will be automatically logged by the system whenever you send something for approval. Then under workflow user group, we need to manage for each category of the group, we need to have the approvers and the users that are sending documents for approval. You can also set the sequence on, for example, this one, you can see this is the workflow user group. If John sends a document, the first approver is Alan. If the same document is sent by John, once this first approver is approved, then the second approver is Mercy. Then if the same person has sent the document and the second approver has approved, then it has to be approved by the third approver. So that is what we are doing. So before we actually do anything, we need now to tell the system whenever leave application is sent for approval, and check the user who is sending that particular leave application for approval, determine their user workflow user group. And if you determine that workflow user group, then you should be able to say that that user, you should be able to log the entries that are being supplied by that particular user. So what I'm going to do for now, I'm going to map these to users. I think for now, I don't want to complicate this. I want us to map the workflow user groups to our to our users, so that whenever a user does anything and maybe sends the document for approval, then we need to determine which kind of document is that, and we need to see the workflow that should be used. So what I want us to do, you see we have workflow user groups, and on these workflow user groups, you're able to have the approvers. So these approvers, you can see we have John Kamau is the sender. So for the first time he sends a document, whether it's a leave application, the first approver is Alan, and you can see the sequence number is 1. So the second time the same person, John, sends a document, the second approver is Mercy. Then the same John, when the same document should go up to the third approver. So what should happen is we've been able to define our workflow matrix. So we've been able to say if John sends a leave application, then it should go to this approval process. But now we need to tell our application that whenever a document like leave application has been initiated by John, determine the workflow user group that John is using, and on that workflow user group, initiate approval entries. And the approval entries is actually here. So on the approval entries, we need to track the record ID, that is the leave application ID, the document type, whether it is a leave application, the sequence number, whether that is the first, second, and third approver. We should be able to tell the approver the status of that particular kind of document, the date sent for approval, and last modified on, last modified by comments, and we can be able to view that particular document. So we need to tell our system now, whenever a document like leave application is sent for approval, the first thing, you determine the person who is sending for approval, determine the approval workflow matrix. So that matrix, so we should be able to determine where to send that particular document and the approval entries. So what I want us to do, I want us to create a model, and we are going to now do the assignment matrix. So what we've just did is we've done the assignment of approvers, but we need to create something here. So I'm going to create another model. Then I'm going to call these, so let me just have this as a class. Then I'm going to call these, let me just call these, so I'm going to call this user approve. So let me call these approvals user matrix. So let's just have now this matrix. And this matrix, I want us to define a simple matrix. So you can actually do or enhance this so that whenever you want to make this a bit complicated, you can do the same. But I want us to have this as a simple thing. So the first thing here, I want us to have a public. I'll just do public int. Then I'll do ID get set. Then within this ID, I'm going to define one thing. So I should be able to tell. So I'll just do string. Then here I should be able to tell the user ID. So I should be able to tell the user ID. And this user ID is actually a foreign key from our users. So here I'll just call this user application user. So these should be users within the system. So this is application user. Then on this assignment matrix, we should be able to select the user who is using the system. We should also be able to tell the document type ID that they are dealing with. And here you can say document, that is system code details. So I'm going to, let me zoom this. So you can say here system code detail. Then here you can say document. So this is a document type ID, and you can say this is document type. Then within document type, so we are able to tell that this is the user, and we are able to say this is a document they're actually dealing with, either leave application. But now we should also assign a matrix. We should say whenever they are dealing with leave application, they should deal with so here we can say workflow user group ID. So they should use this user group whenever they are dealing with. So here I'm going to use here workflow user group. Workflow user group. And now on this assignment of ours, we can actually do the one thing also. We should also determine whether the matrix is active or not. So I'll just have here my boolean. I'll just do bool. Then I can say here active. So I'll just say this is active. Then another thing, I can now inherit the user activity model. So our user activity model will now give us the additional fields. So like who created at what point. So you can see these details. So I can say created by, created on, modified by, and modified on. So we now have our user approval matrix. So every time there is a user who initiates something, we need to determine that particular kind of document, and we need to see the workflow user group ID. And you need to determine if that that matrix is active or not. So from this particular point, we are able to get the workflow, we are able to get the approvers from the matrix, that is the workflow user group, and the document type they are using. And then from here, we're able to get the approvers. And from those approvers, we'll now initiate the approval entries. So after that, I want us to take this approval user group matrix. Then we need to create our table. I'm going to create our application DB context. Then I'm going to add my table here. So I'll do public DB set. Then I'll have my table. Then I'll call this approval user group matrix. So I'll just add an S. Then I can just say get set. So, and remember, once we do that, we should add the migrations. So I'll just do tools, NuGet package manager console. Then here I can add the migration. So let me just confirm. So there we go. So I'm going to add migration. So I'm going to say add migration. Then you can say approval user matrix. So then press enter. So if you are new to this channel and you are watching our videos, you have been following us, remember to subscribe, like our video, comment down below. And if you feel you need the source code, you can also claim the source code using the link below. You can also help us to do more videos by just donating a coffee and helping us to do more of this series. So if you want to buy us coffee, use the link below to buy us coffee. And if you give us a hot one, then we'll really appreciate. So as you can see, we have our add migration file being generated. So we are going to generate that migration file, then update the database, and it will create this particular table. So let's just await and see. So as you can see, our file is being generated. So build succeeded. So our file should be able to have our file now, and we run the update database command. So this should generate a file with our migration name approval user matrix, and that particular file you'll find it on our migrations. So there we go. So you can see we have our migrations, all this going on. Let's just wait and see. So our file has been generated. So as you can see, our file has been generated, and we can now proceed and update the database. So we'll just do update database. So we just press that. Then our approval user matrix table will be created within our database. So I want us to ensure we have that so that we are able to assign approvals to our users. Then we try now to have kind of a test now in our process to ensure that everything is flowing. So we are going to enhance this application to ensure that we have every feature in it. So if you need any feature within this system, you can comment down below, give us any suggestion, and we'll be happy to incorporate. So our migration has been created successfully. As you can see, we have the create table, approval users, then we have ID, all these fields, and we have our migrations inserted to our EF migration history table. So after that, I want us to scaffold. So just to do a CRUD operation. So I'm going to our controllers, then I'm going to do scaffolding. So just to make things easier, then I'll just go to new scaffolded item. Then we are going to choose our model. So we'll do MVC controller with views using entity framework. Then here, we'll now choose our model, our application DB context. Then we proceed to scaffold. So our model class here is what we've just created. So I'm going to select, so is approval user matrix, then application DB context, and this is the name of the controller. So after that, just click add. Then our scaffolding will begin, and you should be able to have now our controller and our views. So you can see it's generating the code, and if all goes well, then you should be able to have our controller and our views. So our file has been generated. So you can see we have our controllers, application, approval user matrix controller. Then we have our, so this is our code. So if you go to views, you'll notice that now we have a folder called approvals user matrices. So this is where we have everything. So I'm going to just have, let me just copy the stylings that we have been using under index from the departments. So I want to ensure we have the same styling. So I'm just going to copy this from the table head. Then under approval user matrix, I'm also going to duplicate this. So just have it that way. Then you are going to say add new matrix. So if we just do that, then you can say approval, user matrix list. Then you can actually now close this. So I'm going to close this here. I'm going to do this div. We're going to do this as well. So then I'm going to format my code. So let me just check if everything is okay. If I minimize this, then that's okay. If I minimize this, yeah, that's okay. So you can see our code is a bit fine. So the same thing is under create. I'm going to here, I'm going to say create. So this we can have it as a 12. I can also have this as a div class. Then you can do row. We'll just do this as a row. Then I'm going to close it here. Then inside here also I can do div class. Then you can say md6. Then you can remove this. Then here I'll just copy these. I want it to be in 2 columns. So I'll just do div. Then I can also do close here. Can do this as div. Can also close this here. Can also do here div. I cannot, sorry. Then I can also do here and do this. And I can close this as well. Can also close this. So what I don't want us to do is to add this. So I'm going to remove this created on. This will be added when we submit. Then we need now to close our row. So I'm going to close it there and format our code. So you can see our code is formatted. So the next thing is we need to go to our layout, that is under shared layout. So I'm going to under shared folder, then layout. Then here I'm going to add now something called under workflow user groups. Then I'm going to add approver. So we are going to have our workflow user group matrix here. So we are going to rename this. I'm going to paste this here. This is the controller name. Then here we have it as index. Then you can say this is approval user matrix. So you can say approval user matrix. So if we do that, I'm going to save that. So let's launch this application and see what it will look like. So we need now to be able to create a matrix for users and tie them to specific documents. So let's just launch our app and see. So for those who are new to this channel, consider subscribing, like our video, and comment down below. So let's just launch our app and see. So there it goes. So let's just launch the app. So there we go. So our app has launched. So there we go. So I'm going to have our account here. Then I'm going to log in. Let's just sign in. Here, let me just provide the credentials. Then sign in. So once I sign in, then we can now go to under system administration. We have now our approval user matrix. So if we click on it, you'll see we have our approval user matrix. And when you say add new, it should take us to a form. So here, the user, we should now tie the users to the document type and also to the workflow user groups. But you can see these figures, the document type IDs, you are able to see the IDs, but we want to see the values, and the users, we need to see the names, and even the workflow user group, we need to see the names. So let's just go to our controller and our approval user matrix controller. Then here we can do, on the document type, we can just do description here. Then also on the workflow user group, let's just confirm which was the workflow user group. On the model, let's just confirm the model. So I want to check the description. It was a description. So let's go to the approval user matrix. Have here the description. Then the users, I think we can do full name. Full name. So I'm going to do the same here for the document type. I'm going to do it here and here. Then here I can do full name. Full name. So after that, the next thing that I want us to do is, let me just do here again, description. I think we have it here. And then we can have it as full name. So after that, I'm going to do away with this. I'm going to do away with this. Then we can do, so the next thing that I want us to do, remember we are tracking our audit logs. So everything that we save, we should actually assign the user. So I'm going to take these details. Then on our approver user matrix, so I'm going to have my user here. So this is the user ID. This is the person who is logged in. So then I need to supply it here. So that means I can be able now to save my details. So I'm going to remove this. And on that note, for the created by, so I want us to insert some values. For the approver user matrix, created by, sorry. So we'll do created by, is our user ID. So this is our user ID. Then for the approver user matrix as well, we can do created on. Created on is the date, time. Then you can say now. So that is okay. So once we do that, we can now save our matrix. So let's just launch our app and see what will happen. So for those who are new to this channel, consider subscribing, like our video. And if you need the source code, you can claim using the link below. So let's just launch the app. So our app is launching. So there we go. Then I'm going to have here admin. Then I can provide my credentials. Then we sign in. So there we go. So if we go to approval user matrix, then I can create a new matrix. As you can see, this is now okay. We are able to now relate with the usernames. So I can say here John, and I can choose. Now we have a problem. So you can see on the document type, it is showing all the items in our system codes. On the workflow user groups, we have the user groups. So we need to filter these to the documents type only. And how do we do that? So come to system administration, under system codes, we need to take the code of the document types. You see, these are the document types. So we'll go to our application, that is the controller, and create here. Then we will say here dot include. So we will include, say x equals to x dot system code. Then we do that. Then you'll say dot where. So say y equals to y. So sorry, let me try to minimize this so that you're able to see. We say y equals to y dot code. So I'll just provide dot system code dot code equals to, then you provide the name. We'll provide the documents types. So this is what we need. So I'm going to copy this up to here and replace it to everywhere we have I add it here. So I'm going to add it there, then even here. So, and you can see it has detected. So I'm going to add it here. So after that, so this will filter only the document types, and you should be able to see that. So here I'll just do system code details, then dot include. So let's relaunch our app again. So I'm going to relaunch. Then we should now be able to create the matrix of users tied to workflow user groups and the document types. So I've done this in a very simple way, but for those who want to enhance it, you can actually now pick my idea and you can build on it to make it better, and you can also share with me how you've improved it. So I'm going to provide the credentials, and you can see, so if we go to approval user matrix, I can create new. Then here now I can say the user, this is John. And you can see now on the document type, you're only filtering with the document type. So I can say leave application, and I want John to be on ICT leave application user group. So if I create this, it has created, but this is not checked. So that is the issue. So I can also create another matrix. I can say I want Tom, and this leave application, and Tom to be in ICT as well. So if I create, I can say this is active, and you can see it has now created our approval user matrix. So here we can do username, full name, and the created by. So I'll just do here. If I come to our index, so let's just come to our index, go there, and on our Here we can do full name. Then document type, we can do description. The workflow, we can also do description. So this is workflow and do description. Then the created by, so we can do created by, so that's okay. So I want us to only have these two, and I want us to borrow some UI from maybe leave application, or let's just say departments. So I want us to borrow this. Then you can have it on our index. So I'm going to do away with these. Then here we can do edit. We have our headers. Also do here edit. So the next is view and delete. We'll just do here view, and you can also do delete. We'll just do here delete. So if we do that, I'm going to relaunch our app. And if I just relaunch, I should be able to see now we have our workflow user groups, and we should be good to go. So that is how we are doing that. So the next approach that we'll be doing now is to ensure that whenever you just send an application, we take the workflow matrix that you have, and we generate the entries. And those are the entries that will be seen by each of the approver. So I'm going here to the approver user matrix, and you can see now I have my user. So John, whenever John sends a leave application, it should use this workflow. And remember, this workflow can be active or inactive. So whenever John sends an application, which is a leave application, it should use this approval workflow group. And if you go to our system administration, you'll notice that we have a workflow user group called ICT. So this is it. And within ICT, we have the assigned approvers for that matrix. And you can see this is the details. So we have the same John here doing the same things. So I think that is it for today. In our next video, we'll now be doing the actual activity. We have been just doing the setups. So the next thing is we'll try to create an application. Then we will take the user John, take the workflow user group, and now recreate the entries. These entries that you see here, approval entries, will be created by the system automatically. So if you want to see how this will happen, then remember to subscribe to our channel and comment down below, and see you in our next video. Bye.